Okay, so here's our first video on our human inheritance, our review and preview of the lesson content. Hopefully give you a second chance to look at the stuff we covered today and develop your understanding on what we're going to be looking at in the coming weeks. So here's one of the first slides that we looked at today, and just kind of an introduction really in terms of genetics, cell division, fertilisation, some of the stuff that we're going to be covering and looking at. So you can see here that we looked at today, the way that we look is passed down from our parents, and we get half the genes from each one of them. Okay, so half the genes from each one. Now, all of the cells, or almost every cell in our body, has 46 chromosomes, and that is the total amount that we need. Carries all of our genetic information, and all of those chromosomes, okay, determine hair color, eye color, and all the different things we need that makes you you. Now, in terms of cell division, there's two types that you will be looking at. One of them is mitosis, and the other one is meiosis. Now, after fertilization, most cell division that happens occurs through mitosis. Okay, mitosis. Now, this is where cells that divide, replicate, and you get exact copies. So, from birth, or even before birth, we have cells in our body that are designed to do and have certain traits. So, skin. Okay, here we're always shedding our skin. So, you've got new skin cells that are being grown. Hair is growing. Nail. You've got muscle tissue. You've got bone cells. So all of these cells will divide and create exact copies. But in order for us to reproduce, we can't pass on exact copies. That'd be too many chromosomes. As it says up here, 46 is the total. If you were to pass on an exact copy, then that's too many. Now, one of the problems of having too many chromosomes is genetic conditions. One of the genetic conditions being Down syndrome, which is an extra chromosome. So what happens then is we actually have a different type of cell division called meiosis. And meiosis. Oh, got my pointer in the way. Meiosis. Now, meiosis occurs to create special cells, such as egg and sperm cells, that pass on half the amount. Okay, they pass on 23, because 23 from sperm, 23 from egg gives us the full set. And we can see that in this picture here. Okay, this gives us the cycle, and this gives us both of the amount of information we need. We've got mum and we've got dad. We get half the amount of information from dad, we get half the information from mum. So a little bit of maths going on. We've got our n representing 23. Okay, we've got n in mum, and because they're only half, they're known as haploid gametes. Okay, and I always remember haploid, HA, gives us half the amount. So we've got haploid and diploid. The diploid means the full amount, the full set of chromosomes, and the number is there, 46. Hence 2n, n, and n. A zygote just means that it's a fertilized egg. Okay, fertilization has occurred at this point here, and we've got the full amount. Now, as I said previously, after fertilization, we've got mitosis. So we've got cells all over the body that are creating exact copies. But in order for us to pass on that genetic information, we need to have cell division through meiosis. And this is where cells will divide and divide again, but we're not creating exact copies, and this gives us genetic variation. Hence why I've got a picture here of Ellie and Bo, the two newer recent additions to our family. Now, Ellie and Bo are both border collies from border collie mum and dad. Ellie has got her mum's coat in terms of colour, but she's actually got her dad's fur. She's more fluffy collie. Whereas if you look at Bo here, he's got mum's coat in terms of the colour, but he's actually more smooth like her mum. Whereas if I show you brother and sister, we've got Denver, okay, fluffy coat like his dad, black and white like his dad, and we've got Minnie over here, who is black and white like dad, but a smooth coat like mum. So already in one litter of pups, we've got 4 different variations, and there are actually 8 pups in this litter, all with different combinations. So you can see now through meiosis we get lots and lots of different possibilities. Just going back to some of the stuff we covered in the lesson today, female reproductive system you need to know, so pause the video at any point if you need the stuff on that. We also looked at the male reproductive system, what certain parts do, you need to know that, make sure those pages in your book are done as well. And we spent a little bit of time looking at egg cells, labelling the sperm cells, so that's all in there, as well as fertilisation. Now, fertilisation, as we know, we watched the video, okay. One of the main reasons for the male reproductive system is to be able to get the sperm to an egg, okay. And we watched earlier, we saw this journey, we know how many sperm are released, and out of the millions and millions and millions, by the time we get to the possibility of fertilisation, only a few doesn't make it. You can see here the development after fertilisation. We've got cells starting to divide. Now initially these cells will know what their function is, but we've got cell division through mitosis. Some of these cells will soon become a skin or an eye or an ear, and we've got replicas being made. But to make this happen, we had to have cells made through meiosis, which was our sperm and our egg. So just at the point of fertilisation that we covered today, here are the different stages that we looked at. Okay, we've got our sperm approaching the egg, and it won't be the only one. Remember, there'll be a few dozen that make it, releasing their enzymes, trying to get through this plasma membrane. Okay, but the receptor molecules here are key, because as soon as one sperm makes it through, then that's when the egg will shut down, stop the rest of the sperm getting through. We don't want more chromosomes entering into the egg, because essentially from the sperm we've got 23 chromosomes in this sperm and 23 from the egg, so when they meet we've got our total of 46. Okay, so some of the questions in your book that we looked at, important for your assignment, make sure you get those down. And then we started looking at the mitosis and the meiosis. And the important things that you remember today is that the mitosis is a cell division that creates exact replicas, okay, so for growth and repair and things like that. Whereas the meiosis is cell division that occurs to create 4 daughter cells that are unique in their genetic makeup. And it's kind of elaborated further here. So we've got meiosis cell division going on. Here's our original sperm. There's all the chromosomes. Okay, they start to shorten and thicken and replicate. They're pulled apart by the spindles. So we've got 2 different cells. They're then pulled apart by the spindle fibers again. We end up with 4 different combinations. This could have been Ellie, Bo, Denver, Minnie, that would have been made it. Okay, so we've got 4 different combinations there, and in the females it's a little bit different, and we'll cover that journey in a bit more detail in the lessons coming up. But again, you can see we've got genetic information that is different. The cells divide. We do still end up with 4 options, but in the females we've got that one egg cell that's got the 23 chromosomes required.